second video of reading books around the world. I'm so excited I can finally film this video because I had to wait until I visited Turkiye so I could access the physical copies of my Turkish books. But I'm finally here. So in this video we will be diving into Turkish literature, and I'm proud to say I think our literature is very strong. You've probably heard of Orhan Pamuk, Sabahattin Ali, Elif Shafak, and many more. I'm not sure what I'll be reading for this video yet because I've already read many of the highly beloved books, but there are also many more that I haven't read yet. They've just been sitting on my bookcase for years. I bought them out of respect. I just haven't read them yet, so today is a chance to fix that. So the first book I want to read today is Kürk Mantolu Madonna by Sabahattin Ali. In English is translated into Madonna in a Fur Coat. Filming this video has finally given me a reason to read this book. This is literally one of the most famous books, and it's like number 17 on the best 100 novels from Turkish literature list. I tried reading this when I was like 13 and I got very bored and I stopped. So I started reading this last night. I got around to page 20 and then I stopped. Even from the first page, there were like 5 words that I didn't know the meaning of, that I've never heard of in my whole life. There are many editions of this book, of course, like many classics do. And I have this edition from Yapı Kredi, and I think they chose to keep the book mostly original. And since it was written in 1943, many of the words used here are not used in modern Turkish anymore. I called my aunt who read this book recently and I was like, how did you understand these words? Like, I've never heard of these words. And then we compared our editions, we read the sentences to each other, and wow, it was so different. It was like reading a direct translation from Google, like everything suddenly made sense. She offered to lend me her copy, but I decided to just keep reading from this one. It's a pretty short book anyway, so I think it will be okay. And there are modern translations under the page. Let me show you. In both pages, there are 2 translations. I think when I read this at 13, this was the reason why I was bored. I think I just thought this is a book for grown-up people. These are words that they should understand. But no, it's just old Turkish. Now at 23, I really appreciate the fact that they chose to keep in its original form. By the way, this book starts in Ankara, which is the capital of Turkey, which is also my birthplace, and it's also the city where I'm filming this video in right now. And so reading his descriptions of this city as he saw it like 80 years ago is super interesting and kind of nostalgic. Let me read you the summary directly from Goodreads. The best-selling Turkish classic of love and longing in a changing world. A shy young man leaves his home in rural Turkey to learn a trade in 1920s Berlin. What? I didn't know we're going to Berlin. Okay, I'm excited. The book has really a melancholic vibe already. Oh wow. Oh my god, like I only read 20-ish pages so far and I've been talking for 6-7 minutes already. Let's go read more and I'll update you as we go. That's so sad. I got goosebumps. We barely know anything about these characters, but I feel so much for them. I'm at page 40, by the way. I'm at page 45, and when I read books that were written like 80 years ago, it gives me such a weird feeling, like, how did he write this back then? Humans improved so much, but reading this book, I feel like nothing changed and our experiences and our thoughts are still the same. I mean, of course they are, but they're exactly the same. This guy is daydreaming about being a famous painter and traveling Europe, and most of us are still daydreaming about the same thing 8 years later. He's going to Europe, to Germany now. I also just moved to Europe like earlier this year, so I'm really interested to see the experiences he'll have there. I had a little breakfast break and now I'm back. My mom made really yummy menemen. It's a Turkish breakfast dish. You should make it. It's really easy to make and it's so yummy and it's full of nutrition. I'm quite far in the book, by the way. I didn't film everything, but like I had coffee and this is such a coffee book. Oh my god, like this is a book that you take your cup of coffee and you be like this and you look smart. But yeah, I had my cup of coffee and I read quite a lot. I'm at page 100 now. Please listen to this sentence. It's gonna be a rough translation. Like, the pain of losing the most precious thing, wealth, and all kinds of worldly happiness are eventually forgotten. However, the missed opportunities are never forgotten, and it makes one's heart ache with every remembrance. Wow, that's so good. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh no, you poor thing. Oh. No, I couldn't stop crying. Okay, now that I finished Kürk Mantolu Madonna, I can finally gather all my thoughts. Or can I actually? I don't know. I don't think I can even think straight right now, but I'll try. I think the way these characters interact with each other is so delicate and tender. One of the scenes that's a great example for this is when Maria tells Raif in the softest and the most respectful way that she doesn't love him and she probably never will, but she does it so kindly, like she doesn't just break his heart cruelly. That kind of communication where both people are so respectful with each other, so considerate of each other's emotions. It's just so rare to see in any story, I feel like. That was really nice. But at the same time, the book is absolutely heartbreaking. There's this heavy feeling of loneliness and unfilled longing that runs throughout the story, even from the first page. What really surprised me though was how modern the book feels for a book written like 80 years ago. This is such a long review, sorry. Like, it's only 140 pages long and my review is so long for what? But seriously, I highly recommend this book. As I'm sure you can tell, I'm gonna be reading one more book for this video and I already went ahead and chose it. It's Son Ada by Zülfü. It's been translated into English only recently, I think, like 2 years ago, with the name The Last Island. This is a book that has been on my TBR for easily 5 years. I saw this book on a YouTube book recommendations video, and since my mom is a big fan of this author, I recommended it to her. Then she loved it and she recommended it to my aunt. My aunt loved it and she recommended it to her husband. He loved it and he recommended it to a coworker. I'm not even kidding. Everyone has read this book because of me. Everyone except me. So the time has come for me to finally read this book as well. But I think I'm feeling too emotionally drained to read anything else today. So I'll see you tomorrow with Sonata. Hello again. It's been 2 days since that last clip. I started reading The Last Island yesterday morning and I couldn't stop reading it. Before I knew it, it was over. So I forced myself to get up and film, but I really couldn't. I was so hooked to this book. All I wanted to do was lie in bed and read this book. And I normally never dog ear books. I never ever dog ear books. I would rather underline or take pictures of the parts I liked or that I want to reread. But I swear this book did something to me and I didn't want to put it down, quite literally. Like I didn't even want to reach for my phone to take pictures. So I just dog eared. Sorry book. Sorry. I feel guilty. Anyway, to talk about the actual book, as it's obvious from the title and the cover, this book takes place on an island, and at the start of the book, it's a dreamy, peaceful, almost utopic place. But then a dictator arrives on this island and he messes everything up, and the book becomes almost this dystopian world. I think it has a really interesting premise, but maybe that's because I usually read popular book talk books. So maybe it's not that unusual, but I really like the premise of it. So yeah, this dictator brings the whole island to chaos. And I was so angry reading it. People follow this guy like sheeps, like a flock. For some reason, I thought people living peacefully together on an island for years and years and years would have the same thoughts, same ideologies, same political opinions, but they don't. And soon everything turns to chaos. One thing I want to mention, at the start of the book, literally on page 1, the narrator of the story says like, I'm not a very good writer, but I'll try my best, or something along those lines. And the whole book is written in this super easy language and the book just flows when you're reading it. But this also felt like the writer Zulfü didn't want to bother with complex writing and literary language, so he just used this as an excuse. I think this book could really benefit from better writing because the idea was very good. But yeah, I didn't read Animal Farm, but some people say these two books are really similar. So if you enjoy that, maybe you'll enjoy this one too. This video made me realize I really should read more Turkish books. I can understand the language and I can read these gems in their original language. Like, I'm lucky. We have very strong literature. Wow, I'm impressed. I'm proud. It's a shame I reached this realization when I moved to a whole other country and now I don't have easy access to Turkish books, but oh well, better late than never. Let me know if you read any Turkish books before, which one, and what were your thoughts on it. For the next video of this series, I'll probably do an Asian country, but I'm not sure yet. I wanted to talk more about this book, but there is construction going on in our apartment and they said it's gonna last 20 days. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos by me, please consider subscribing and I'll see you in another video. Bye bye!